Good evening. This is a regular scheduled meeting of the Kettering City Council. Today's date is October 10th, 2023. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I knew that I had kids that were so good at the pledge, I would have had you come up front.
Right.
You come back and do it again, okay?
That was awesome.
That was great. Okay. Please join me for an invocation tonight. Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for your abundant blessings and surrounding us with stewardship and a supportive community in Kettering. We thank you for the ability to engage in useful work and for the honor of bearing these important responsibilities. We are grateful for your boundless love for all of us. Please continue to give us the strength and compassion with which to serve, and grant us the wisdom to make appropriate decisions. Help us to remain humble and grateful for the opportunity to lead. Guide this council so that we may work in harmony while serving our citizens with integrity and purpose. Allow us to fulfill the responsibilities entrusted in us by our residents. I would like to just take a brief moment tonight and ask you all to reflect on the great need we have for peace around the world tonight. I think, it just, you watch Ukraine day after day, and then you watch suddenly Israel, and at times it feels like too much, and it is too much. But what we can do is to work very hard in our own community to treat each other with compassion, with love, and in care for the problems that we all have and that we need to work on. We can't do anything, unfortunately, about Israel. We can't do anything about Ukraine except to keep them in our prayers. But we can do a lot to bring peace to our own community. So let's make a commitment to do that. I would like to recognize Miami Valley Communication Council TV operator Mike Soproni. Mike, thanks for your assistance. That hand up there. Mr. Duke has an excused absence. And I would like to turn at this point to Mr. Kleepaz for a motion to approve the minutes from the September 26th council meeting and workshop.
Thanks, Your Honor. I've reviewed the minutes from both the council meeting and the council workshop from September the 26th. I found those minutes to be in order, and I move for their approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Call the roll.
Mr. Kleepaz?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Abstain.
Mayor Lehner?
Okay, yes. Okay. We do have one proclamation tonight. This is for Make a Difference Day, and I believe we have Don Kirchner our volunteer administrator, is going to be accepting the proclamation this evening. Ms. Duval, would you like to read this?
I'd love to. Whereas Make a Difference Day connects people with opportunities to serve, strengthens communities, and promotes civic engagement. And whereas Make a Difference Day is one of the largest single days of service nationwide, uniting tens of thousands of volunteers with a common mission to improve the lives of others through community-driven service projects. And whereas established over 2 decades ago by the Points of Light Foundation, the City of Kettering is proud to be a nationally recognized participant, and whereas the City of Kettering will provide opportunities for all to participate in this day of service designed to leverage the dedication, commitment, and power of volunteers to address a variety of needs in our community, and whereas volunteers from service clubs, Faith-based organizations, Blue Star Mothers, local schools, and local residents will assist the city by expanding a native plant rain garden, help residents in the South Van Buren neighborhood complete outdoor projects, and create holiday greeting cards for active duty military members and nursing home residents at either Christ Church United Methodist or at their own home with kits provided by the City of Kettering Volunteer Office. Now therefore, Peggy Lehner, Mayor of the City of Kettering, Ohio, do hereby proclaim October 28, 2023 to be Make a Difference Day in the City of Kettering, and urge all citizens to observe this day by joining efforts to make a positive impact and truly make a difference in our community.
Okay. Thank you very much. Dawn, if you'd like to come forward, we're going to work you hard tonight. Okay. We'll offer you this proclamation, and thank you for your work, and take a few minutes to talk to us.
Thank you, Mayor Lehner and City Council. The City of Kettering is proud to enlist the help of volunteers and community partners to participate once again in National Make a Difference Day. Volunteers will gather at Christ Church to create holiday greeting cards for active duty military in collaboration with Blue Star Mothers and holiday placemats for those residing in area nursing homes. As part of our 2023 Cities of Service initiative, volunteers will meet in the South Van Buren neighborhood, bordered by Ford Boulevard, Smithville Road, the Tenneco property, and the Montgomery County Education Learning Center to assist property owners with yard maintenance such as leaf raking and yard debris removal. Volunteers will also be involved once again in installing native plants in the Van Buren Park to continue the expansion of a rain garden started last year on Make a Difference Day. And this project was made possible through funding by Keep Montgomery County Beautiful. These Make a Difference Day efforts would not be possible without your support, Mayor Lehner, the support of City Council, city staff, Cities of Service, and our Volunteer Advisory Council, not to mention the hundreds of volunteers who join with us every year as we strive to make a positive impact, not only here in our local community, but also throughout the world. You're all invited to stop by any of these 3 locations on Saturday, October 28th between 9 a.m. and noon. Refreshments will be available. And if anybody has questions, you're welcome to call the volunteer office at 296-2433, and we thank everybody for your ongoing support of this initiative.
Okay. Thank you, Dawn.
Can I say something very quick about
Sure, May.
This will be my 3rd year, I think, volunteering for Make a Difference Day with Kiwanis. And every year I help with the yard cleanup for different residents. Last year, I accidentally broke one of the city's rakes. Oops. And they're still letting me come back, and I never got a bill for that. So this is an excellent program. Everyone should come, and maybe I'll break something different this time. So, that's all.
I wish the rake was all that I had broken last year, but anyway.
I was avoiding that.
Okay. Thank you, Dawn. And we're going to call you right back up again. Tonight's one of our favorite nights. We get to look at properties all over the city of Kettering that have won the City Beautiful Award. And I wouldn't want to be on that committee because there are an awful lot of beautifully maintained properties. But we've got a special group of them tonight, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you once again, Mayor Lehner and City Council. So the Neighborhood Pride Award recognizes property owners who have made significant improvements to the appearance of their home or business, or have maintained their property impeccably year after year. In May, all of Kettering property owners receive information in contact with Kettering asking for nominations for this prestigious award. Approximately 200 nominations were received this year, and all of them were reviewed by our committed Neighborhood Pride Committee. A winner is selected from each of our 12 districts in June, July, and August, in addition to 1 commercial property each month. This was also the first year that we introduced a new award recognizing a property highlighting sustainable landscaping alongside the other items reviewed by committee members. This popular program would not be possible without the dedicated help of our volunteer committee and our co-chairs, Rob Jan, Gail Carone, and Mark and Carol Messer. Would all of our Neighborhood Pride volunteers who are here tonight please stand and be recognized?
Come on, don't be shy. Thank you.
Thank you all for your continued support of this program. And the beautiful video that we're about to watch is made possible by hours of editing and filming by Carl Sukamel from Miami Valley Communications Council. So if you see Carl, please thank him for all of the work that he puts into this. And as we play the video, if your property is shown, please stand up so that we can see your efforts. So with that, let's play the video.
home and start weeding my garden the day after that, and it wears off after about 24 hours. So. But I want to just call attention to Carl Suckamal from the Cable Council, who has filmed that every year as long as I can think. And he does a beautiful, beautiful job. But so, thanks. And he has no time to grow a garden of his own. Don, did you have 4?
Well, again, congratulations to everybody, and I always watch this with the same thing. I need to go home and up my game a little bit, and I think just when I've seen every type of interesting landscaping or new feature or deck style, I get new ideas. So maybe I never start the project. I don't know. I don't know where to start. So thank you for the inspiration for all of you who work so hard to keep your houses just beautiful for the enjoyment of our entire community. So before we begin, I'd like to remind everybody that you're welcome to attend a reception in the lower level of the Government Center following the awards presentation. I just want to draw attention that sound carries very well in this building, so while we're transitioning to celebrate, please remember to do so quietly as this meeting will continue, so that means tiptoes and whispers. Go down. So
You all get to go downstairs, eat quietly, and enjoy your drinks while we carry on business.
And just a reminder, this video will be made available on our website, and all of the award winners do receive a flash drive so they can take that video home themselves to enjoy it at their leisure. So with that said, I think we're ready for the awards. So how this will work, we're going to start with the June award winners. So if all of you in June would like to make your way towards this side and start lining up, this evening, the Assistant Volunteer Administrator, Nick Cerise, is going to help out. He's going to call your name. When your name is called, if you could come forward, I'll hand you your certificate, and then I'll take a picture with you and Mayor Lehner. So if you have others that you'd like to have in your video, please bring them forward as well. So June, come on this way. Nick will say your name as well.
All righty. Thank you, Don, and thank you, Mayor and Council and City Manager and departments for working with us on this. This is 35 years of neighborhood pride. So since 1988, this has been a big deal for the City of Kettering. You have all made a big difference with the City of Kettering in your neighborhood, with your neighbors, in your community. So thank you for doing that. We'll go ahead and get started. We do have 16 households present tonight, so we will go ahead and get started with James and Beverly Klein at 4330 Wellington Drive. Excellent. Congratulations. Next up, we do have Alfred and Ruth Hoffman at 5197 Ponderay Place.
I'm glad they're over there and not over here.
Congratulations. Next up, we do have Jack and Karen Howard at 3340 Governor's Trail. Next up, we do have Reed and Jamie Faulkner and their beautiful family here from 1413 Abingdon Road.
Oh, that was little artwork.
Excellent. Next up, we do have Mr. Stephen Schmiel, representing him and Janilee Schmiel at 1762 Brownlee Road. Next up, in the July winners, we do have the first property, which is a commercial property at Fairmont High School Auditorium. We do have Jeff Johnson representing Kettering City Schools to come up to accept the award. Next up, we have another beautiful family of Michael and Jennifer Kotz at 1933 East Baton Drive. And next up, we do have Diane Burns and Laura Goodpaster at 5097 Artesia Drive. All right, next up, we do have Scott and Stephanie Grilly at 4358 Carlo Drive. And then for District 9 in July, we do have Michael Seaveking and Jeffrey Treziak at 4524 Royal Ridge Ray. And next up is actually our first Sustainable Landscape Award, and the first time ever in 35 years of Neighborhood Pride. That will be awarded to Stephen and Maura Besh at their beautiful house at 767 Greenhouse Drive.
You think they're on the sustainability committee?
That's what I asked the mayor. I go, I hope they're on the sustainable. That's what I said.
They asked my neighbors to cheer.
Next up in District 2 for August, we have Amy Miller at 2601 Berry Knoll Street. And then next up for District 4, we have Roberta Gentili at 4705 Rain Meadow Drive. And I think, Roberta, with the last name you have, I think your legacy will live on in Kettering with the Gentili Park that's about to be put in Kettering. So nice job. Congratulations. Next up, at District 5, we have Lawrence and Laura Budich at 2821 Warely Avenue. And I will say their daughter, Jessica Stickle, is in attendance tonight, and she is a Kettering Leadership Academy graduate. Oh. And next up, we have William and Amy Shearhart at 149 Lincoln Park Boulevard, just down the street from here.
A lot of council wants to know where Bill is.
A work location. A workcation.
He's my student at Southdale, and his family won, and we won, and we found out we both won, so we wanted to get a picture with you so we could show our class. Biggest deal ever. So I'll get one from you.
Best day ever. Best day ever.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Oh.
That's funny. Best day ever.
I didn't know she was a teacher. No Bill. I know him a long, long time.
Very cool.
You can tell she's very.
Congratulations. And next up for District 8 in August, we do have Caroline Durr at 117 Wingate Drive. Awesome. And then last but not least, Frank and Judy Galassa at 1800 Roslyn Avenue.
I would just like to say, though, I've lived in this house since I was 6 months old. Same neighborhood. We've won this 3 times.
Oh.
91, I think 2010, and we're always working on it.
Good job. Good job. That's awesome. That's awesome.
No, I just got a manicure for my birthday.
Awesome. And that will wrap it up for the Neighborhood Pride Awards for 2023. We do appreciate everyone for coming out here tonight, and do appreciate council and the city manager and departments for working with us on this project each and every year. This is 35 years strong, so we hope to go another 35 years strong. And I do appreciate meeting with all the award winners. They've been awesome to talk with and everything. And I look forward to speaking with you again next year. So congratulations once again.
Good job.
Thanks,
Beautiful.
Nick and Don do a super job. Okay.
You don't have to stay if you don't, but you have to be very quiet as you leave. Very quiet. Even a whisper can be heard upstairs. Yes. Oh, good inside voices. Way to go. All the way to the basement.
Bye, Jessica.
All right. Rock and roll. I told you he was going to be fun.
What? Mm-hmm. It may be him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, up there. Okay. Okay. We will now move on to public hearings, of which we have none this evening. If there is anyone who wishes to speak about any of the legislation we have coming up tonight, now is the time for you to do that. If you wish to speak, your limit is 5 minutes. Speakers must state their name and address, and comments should be addressed to council. If you have comments that are not about the legislation on tonight's agenda, there will be an opportunity for those to be heard later in the evening. Anyone have any comments about any of the legislation about to be introduced? Okay, seeing none, we will now move on to ordinances in second reading, of which we also have none. We do have some resolutions, however, and I'll call on Mrs. Fisher to introduce them.
Your Honor, I do have a resolution declaring the necessity of repairing curbs, sidewalks, and drive approaches on various streets as part of the 2024 curb, sidewalk, and drive approach repair project. That is project number 05-124. It is requested by the Engineering Department, and I move for its approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Greason, I don't seem to have the list I needed, so I'm going to just look at you and you tell me who's speaking.
Your Honor, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Bergstresser, and he's going to overview this item.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The resolution tonight on the agenda for the 2024 Curb, Sidewalk, and Drive Approach Repair Program will declare the necessity of making repairs to curbs, sidewalks, and drive approaches for those properties that are included in next year's program. Upon approval this evening, property owners will be notified via letter of their estimated assessment in the coming weeks. The project will not start until spring of next year at the earliest, and residents will have an opportunity to make the repairs themselves if they so choose. Otherwise, it will be put on the city's program for repair next year. Be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Bergstresser? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an economic development incentive grant agreement for exterior improvements to 1713 Barney Avenue. The estimated cost is $25,000. Those funds are available. It's requested by the economic development manager. I move for approval.
Second.
Your Honor, as you know, our economic development efforts include working to encourage reinvestment in older commercial properties. In this case, this is an economic development incentive grant agreement with Mr. Ken and Tammy Eberly. They're the owners of Enhance U. It's a sports performance and physical training facility. The agreement would allow the owners to make exterior improvements to bring the existing building at 1713 Barney Avenue in Kettering not only into compliance with the city's zoning and building codes, but significantly improve it as it was previously essentially a building that was more run down and largely housed storage, vehicles for storage, and they're going to turn it into a new business in our community and improve that neighborhood. The grant would promote redevelopment, create jobs, expand the tax base, remove a blighting influence, and help maintain property values in the neighborhood. And specifically, the grant funds are going to reimburse the property owners for asphalt removal, landscaping, paint, fencing, and some other improvements that are deemed necessary by the Planning and Development Department. It's a small incentive grant for these improvements. It's based on 50% of the costs for exterior building improvements not to exceed $25,000. Be glad to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Okay. Seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the submission of applications for federal infrastructure investment and Jobs Act funds through the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission. This is being requested by the Engineering Department, and there is no associated costs.
Move for approval.
I move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Bergstresser.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the time of year where we apply to the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission for federal roadway funding for various projects. And this year we are submitting 4 projects for consideration. The first one is on a section of East Dorothy Lane, just to the west of Wilmington Pike, over to Woodman Drive. This is through the Surface Transportation Program that MVRPC runs. This project is primarily a resurfacing project for the roadway, but it will also add off-street bikeways on the north side of Dorothy Lane from Wilmington to Delco Park, and then on the south side of Dorothy Lane from Woodman Center Drive to Woodman. It would also add street lighting to this section of Dorothy Lane. So we're very hopeful that this project gets funded, as we are for all the projects. Second is on Wilmington Pike from Smithville Road to the North Corporation limit. This is essentially in front of the Kettering Business Park, primarily a resurfacing program targeting MVRPC's resurfacing set-aside funds that are within their surface transportation program. The third project would improve street lighting on Far Hills Avenue between Stroop Road and Dorothy Lane. This is money that we are targeting through MVRPC's carbon reduction program. The street lighting system on Far Hills Avenue in this section is substandard, and so it would replace the street lighting with a more modern system that is energy efficient. And the fourth project is a new sidewalk on Founders Drive in the Miami Valley Research Park that will connect Research Boulevard to College Drive. This would be a transportation alternatives project, and it would help to enhance pedestrian and disabled access from upcoming RTA route changes that would run bus routes through the Research Park area and would open up access to the adjoining businesses along Founders Drive, where a sidewalk currently does not exist. We are hopeful to get funded for all these projects. However, funding is not available until 2028 or 2029. So if we are funded, it will be a few years before these projects would be constructed. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none, call the roll.
Mrs. Hall? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution to amend Resolution Number 10867-23 regarding the purchase of bunker gear for the fire department. The amount requested, or the amount of cost, budgeted cost and amount requested is the same, $14,700, and is requested by the fire department. I move for approval.
Second.
Chief? I assume this is yours.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is part of the part of the bunker gear replacement program, and this is to purchase 4 additional sets of bunker gear that are custom fit. We have 3 planned retirements and 1 resignation, so this will allow us to purchase the bunker gear for those 4 new hires when they bring them on at time, so they can be fit for structural firefighting gear. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall? Mayor Laner?
Yes.
I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to apply for a body-worn camera grant through the state of Ohio. The estimated cost is $1.1 million. This is requested by the police department. Move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Chief Mossman?
Thank you, Your Honor. We are looking at replacing our body-worn cameras that we have. It's that time to start looking for those replacements. The state does offer grants that we're looking at the possibility to save some cost on those. Be happy to answer any questions.
I do have a question. You already have body cameras?
That is correct.
That's correct, okay. Thank you. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, call the roll.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes. Okay, thank you. That concludes our resolutions for this evening. Ordinances in first reading, we have none. We will move on to certifications and petitions, and I would turn to Shauna Kaczynski for any petitions.
Mayor Laner, we do have a certification this evening. Planning Commission is recommending denial of PC 23-018 zoning map amendment. A public hearing regarding this request will be held on Tuesday, October 24th, 2023 at the Kettering City Council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Now move on to the manager's report and community update.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you for the opportunity to give a brief update. I believe all the people here today will probably be right on this important news. The fall leaf pickup begins Monday, October 16th, starting in District 1. So if you want to be an award winner next year, you probably need to start raking soon. Get your leaves picked up at the curb. As you know, our service department will be working hard, and we appreciate all they do to help keep our city safe and clean and beautiful. We have Shred Day, helping people with their documents, important documents. Saturday, October 21st, 2023, 9 a.m. to noon at the Fairmont High School parking lot on Schroyer Road. So we encourage people to bring their documents that they need to have shredded and get rid of. Likewise, the DEA Drug Take Back Day is Saturday, October 28th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Kettering Police Department. Chief, do you want to add anything about it?
Just also a reminder that we also have the drug drop box as well, where they can bring in and dispose of their drugs at any time during the year.
Critical to not only get rid of your old documents, but also any medicines or that you may have in your cabinet that are no longer being utilized. Please bring them in. Ms. Kirchner highlighted Make a Difference Day is coming up Saturday, October 28th. If individuals are interested in participating, they can contact our volunteer office at 296-2433 or email Dawn at the email on the screen. And lastly, Beggar's Night is Tuesday, October 31st, 6 to 8 p.m., and I will add rain or shine. That is all I have, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, at this time, if you would like to come speak before City Council on a non-legislative item, please come down to the podium. Each speaker will have a 5-minute limit. Speakers are asked to state their name and address. Is there anyone who would like to speak before City Council today?
Everybody's moving.
Okay, we got 2, huh? Okay. Hold on a minute, I got to get this timer set.
New shoes.
Thank you. My name is Rocco Morano, and I live at 4256 Shrub Drive here in Kettering. And I just moved here about a month ago. And
welcome to Kettering.
Thanks. Welcome back. I love Kettering, that's why I'm back, and I know that gentleman. So I'm not sure if this is a Kettering issue or a county issue, but on Shrub Drive, they just finished replacing the water main and a new shutoff. And I know there's a program to move the meters from inside the house to the curb. And if I'd known it earlier, I maybe have coordinated it. But I went and I got an estimate to move the meter, and I only got one because I couldn't get 3. And it was $5,670, which is a lot of money. When I talked to the gentleman, he said about 80% of that is the fact that they got to dig up and put it in, they call it a meter pit. Well, the pit was already opened by the county. I'm not sure who did the water main, but it was already open, and that was 85% of the cost. So for the other residents, you could have saved them $4,000 or $5,000 if some coordination could have happened with, I guess, the county that did the water main. You know, and I think, I don't know, 30 homes on Shrub Drive. So, you know, you're talking probably $150,000 you could have saved homeowners because all those pits were open, and it would have been really easy to put the box in and then charge, you know, whatever, maybe $1,000 to do that. So I noticed, I looked in the literature, and there looks like there's other streets that need to be done. So maybe advance notice for those homeowners saying, hey, you know, while the pit's open, if you want to put your meter outside, now would be a good time to save some money.
It's a good
So I'm not sure if this is the right venue, but I wanted to bring that to the attention.
Well, it's not the wrong venue.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah, I
if it's
didn't
the
know if it
right
was
one
county
either,
or
but
city, so
I'm going to ask our city manager to address that if he can.
Or taking action.
Yeah, we'll look into it, and so
Okay.
we'll appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, if you got any questions or, things from me, just you
Okay.
can call me or stop by or whatever.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you bringing that to our attention. Thank you.
I don't know why I know.
Okay, does anyone else wish to speak before council? Come on down.
Huh? Yeah, why not, yeah.
Okay. Hey, brother.
Heidi, hi. Wonderful Kettering City Council, Madam Mayor, citizens, administration. I am lay brother Stephen Gerard Sadlowski. I am a resident and voting resident of Ohio. I do not live in your city, but for purposes of you, I am at 1109 West 8th Street, Lorraine, Ohio, and Lorraine is known as the International City. I have provided all of you an information packet. You'll get to read that at your leisure. And my qualifications, so that you know, I completed my engineering degree at Purdue University. I take engineering ethics very seriously in our society. I completed my MBA at Xavier University, of which I also participated in Students for Life. I focused on Heckscher-Ohlin theory, so that for those of you who like to know that economic theory, it looks at how economies, globalized economies, help each other, whether you're in a poverty country or a very acclimated intellectual country, okay? I also, after my MBA, I completed and helped with 40 Days for Life in Cincinnati, I'm delighted to say. I also helped serve as a sidewalk counselor. So if some of you, whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, would like to interact with somebody who loves to talk to everybody, I love everybody, learn about sidewalk counseling, I can certainly talk quite a bit about that. And I do have a nice qualification. I won the Mom Award at Purdue University. I take that very special, the Mom Award, although it stands for Midshipman of the Month. That means I'm a veteran also for you wonderful veterans out there. So very quickly, I'm going to go over some of my information package with all of you. I think that's very appropriate to do because as with education, we have to become educated. I have provided you a Bible bookmark. On that Bible bookmark, you will notice the concept of life peace zones. And if you turn to the back of the Bible bookmark, you'll see that if you Googled considering life peace zones, I made the City Beat newspaper in 2008 in Cincinnati, and it'll talk about my pro-life efforts way back when, okay? I'd also like to let you know that on the back of the Bible bookmark, you're encouraged as part of your homework, because I'm a Franciscan lay brother, so I love to give homework. Order the book, The American Covenant. If you've heard of Kirk Cameron, he's a big advocate of that particular book. It talks about our founding fathers before they got off the Mayflower to establish the American Covenant, and we are all ourselves are a living reflection of the American Covenant, and we have to keep it alive and going. Also, I would encourage you to order the book, Healing the Culture. Enough said there. In honor of Anne, who's on the back, today's her birthday. She's a wonderful music artist, so I'm just going to sing her pro-life song on the back of your Bible bookmark in a cappella called Let the Beating Heart. Let the beating heart, let the beating heart show you there is life in the womb. So we'll get a little bit of amplification of life there. Also in your information packages, I hope in the future you'll discuss the proposed personhood resolution that Kettering can actually pass. That is in your packet. Also, I have included a Citizen Overlay Life Peace Zone information leaflet that I hand out to cities throughout the whole United States. And I'm delighted that I'm able to actually share that leaflet with you too. Please read that several times. Also included in your information packet is a personhood strategic action plan. Today, the child peacefully developing in the mother's womb, we're called to love God and love our neighbor as ourselves. You had that beautiful presentation today of beautiful homes, but guess what? We first lived in our mother's womb. We're a person in our mother's womb. So we have to have a personhood strategic action plan also. There'll also be a couple articles on my accomplishments and being published throughout the state and the country on my pro-life efforts. God bless you all. I hope you'll take this to heart very serious. And please vote no on issue 1. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to council tonight? Okay, please come on down.
My name's Larry Maloney, and I live at 9270 East Dorothy Lane, Kettering. I've been a resident of Kettering probably close to or a little bit over 40 years. And more recently, but also in the past, but more recently, I've been getting violation notices on my property from the maintenance department. And Doug Donise, I think that's his name, he refuses to communicate with me. I sent him a letter, this letter, on the 10th of last month. I merely asked him to put in writing the problem he has with my van that's in my driveway. I asked him specifically to tell me what's this height violation, the weight violation, and signage, whatever, and just put it in writing so I know exactly what you're talking about. The problem, the ongoing problem is he sends violations and it's minuscule type, you can barely read it. And I've seen an award sheet that you give to your police officers. It looks like it's 12 pica. It's really large and you can read it. But the thing I'm supposed to read is super small and it's just hard to follow. And instead of him, for example, saying you have this problem, he cites statutes. And then it's up to me to interpret the statute. And I don't know where the city's coming from. So where I am now, I sent this letter on the 10th of last month. He hasn't bothered to respond to that directly. Instead, I've got all these certified letters from the city of Kettering. Each one of those is a bill where I owe you all $85 each day that truck is sitting there. And I told him in this letter I'd gladly part with the truck if he will tell me what the criteria is so that when I buy a new truck, I'm not in violation. And that's where I am now. And incidentally, not related to that, but I really enjoyed seeing the homes that have been remodeled. And mine would be the before picture, because this summer I started remodeling my home, and right now it's got foam board on all the outside walls. I've just put new windows in it, but they're not attached. And I've got a nice stack of hardy board siding waiting to install on it. But if I'm going to end up losing my home to the city, then I don't see any reason to finish the work. I am not motivated to work on it right now. Excuse me, I'd like to get this resolved. I believe you have some serious issues in your planning department with the maintenance personnel. This issue, as I said, has been going on a 3 years ago. Last year, I tried to get a permit to build a shed. He was concerned about things I have stored in my yard. The only reason they're in the yard is because my neighbor's property floods water to mine because they put concrete all over it. It comes into my yard, it sunk my garage 4 to 6 inches, and it rotted out the walls. So I took all my stuff, set it in the driveway. That same neighbor called Mr. Donise. He cited me for having the stuff in the driveway. So I moved it back in the garage, and that went on for a year. Every time I moved it out to do a little bit of work, I got cited. Eventually, I got all 6 sections of my driveway foundation poured. And then my other neighbor on the other side, which I'm sure the police chief knows, Jason Perky, he's in the penitentiary now. He's a convicted rapist of children. Well, he drove a 16,000-pound truck on my property for 2 years, and my basement wall caved in. And while I was trying to sue him, he got sent to the penitentiary. So I had 2 feet of water in my basement. The furnace rusted out, the water heater rusted out, and it's all on me. So while I'm trying to deal with taking stuff out of my basement that's running, again, your inspector shows up and he cites me because my yard's messy. So I took all this stuff to another property I had, and there, because I wasn't paying attention to it, $27,000 worth of my property was stolen. So I just can't win. I'd like to get rid of the truck. I'd like to finish my house, but I need to pin the maintenance department down. As I mentioned, I applied for a permit. And they wouldn't give it to me to build a shed.
Thank you. This is obviously a rather complicated issue. Mr. Robillard is here tonight. Perhaps you could give him your name and number after the meeting, and I'm sure he will follow up with you on this.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's right there. Okay. We will now, yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Is there anyone else who wishes to address council tonight? Okay. See. You want more? Okay. Seeing no one, we'll now move on to council reports, and we'll start with Jackie.
I was around. Yes, I was around, even though I wasn't around last meeting. I'm going to highlight 2 things. The first, on the 3rd of October, I had the opportunity to speak to all the social studies department kids at Fairmont High School about the importance of registering to vote and ultimately voting. And so that's a great reminder to anyone that's watching this today, is if you're not already registered to vote, today is the last day to get your registration in so you can vote. Can't complain about things if you don't put your voice forward. That same evening, it's funny, Fairmont had so much going on that day. They had a concert going on, and Mr. Scott's wife and I got to also go to senior night with the field hockey team. Bummer they lost in overtime, but it was a great time to support the Fairmont seniors, and that was great. Another thing that I want to report on the 5th of October, I attended Casey Barlow's Citizen Legion of Honor Award down at the Convention Center. What a great human being she is, and what a great honor that she received. And actually everybody that is on that wall of fame right there at our Convention Center. Congratulations to her, and it was a wonderful event, and I appreciate for my 2 Doorwood guys. I got to see a lot of Doorwood gentlemen, which was nice to see familiar faces there at that particular event. That's all I have for today.
Thank you. Mr. Klepas.
Well, continuing on with the 5th, you also were amongst several of us that attended Assistant Fire Chief David Roth's retirement celebration. David's been with us a long time, and he's moving on to better things in Florida. He's making a pretty smart move there, it looks like. But I want to mention that it seems like every time we have a retirement, there's someone else stepping up and coming up through the ranks, just like David did. And congratulations to Chief Robbins on, he's already appointed somebody to be the new assistant chief, and wish Assistant Chief Beavers well on that. And thanks for inviting us all to that celebration. We had our last meeting of the month of September of Sister Cities. We have several openings. If anyone's interested in being on that Sister Cities committee, you get a hold of our clerk, Shauna Kaczynski, and she's got an application. It's going to be an exciting year in 2024 because it looks like we're going to have students coming in from Steyr, Austria, and also adults making a visit this year too. Looks like that's the plan anyway. Last but not least, remember that supporting local businesses is not only good for the economy, but also for the environment, and reduces transportation emissions and promotes sustainability practices. I think it's appropriate tonight, when we gave the first sustainability award, that we can tie in shopping local with the sustainability committee. I knew you'd like that, Lisa. Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Hall.
Yes, it was very well stated earlier about Israel, but just am thinking about the Kettering residents who have family in Israel, and my heart really goes out to them with this terrorist attack that happened, and the innocent women and children who were killed or being held hostage. I mentioned this last time, but since then I had the opportunity to join the striking UAW workers in the region, and I support their freedom to strike, which often is the last resort, and corporations who continue to focus on making bigger and bigger profits without reinvesting in their workers is a problem in my mind, so I was happy to join them. And lastly, I attended a Catholic Charities event that was celebrating some of the work that's been done by immigrants and refugees, both in Dayton and in Kettering. We have a good immigration population here, and it was really wonderful to see the contributions that they've made to our community. Certain political figures said last week that immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country, which is so wrong and really disturbing. And in contrast, I'm chairing an effort to move the work of Welcome Dayton to be a welcoming city to refugees and immigrants into the whole county. And we will be doing a listening session with the people who have emigrated here in Kettering sometime in the next several months. But we're going city to city right now, and really want this city to be a welcoming city. That's all for me.
Thank you. Mr. Scott.
We've run a little long here this evening, so I don't think I can add anything to the comments that were already made.
Okay.
I'm going to echo Mr. Scott. I have no update this evening. Thank you.
And actually, I am going to as well. I figured this was going to be a very long meeting, so I have no additional report. Being no further business to come before City Council, our next regularly scheduled City Council meeting will be October 24th, 2023, and this meeting is adjourned.